Again, the game is happening tonight between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cavs. However, the Thunder have won 15 straight, even though they lost the NBA Cup championship, which just drives me crazy that continues, that streak continues. The Cavs have won 10 straight. What are we watching with these two teams? What are they showing you, whether it's in their respective conferences, what we see at the end of it all? Are you still the same at the very beginning that you said, Channing, that the Cavs are still just a regular season team? You want to see what they can do in the okay.
So 2 things I'm looking for. Evan Mobley's improvement and physicality inside with Jared Allen. Are they going to take advantage of that? And Darius Garland. When he gets on these switches, can he defend? Remember we talked about Boston? The first game they played Boston, they were doing the, ice, and they got cooked. Then Kenny Atkinson and Darius Garland and Cleveland say, hey, we can't do that no more. Like, that's how we're going to win, is we got to switch, and he got to man up. And they've been doing it, and they've been balling. So what I thought last year and the year before, they looked like a very regular season team because they were just running that screen and roll for Donovan Mitchell, and it got a little repetitive for me. Now, Evan Mobley's been balling. That ball is popping. Defensively, they're locked in. They're being physical. They're switching up and trusting each other. So to me, if Darius Garland can handle his assignment today, because they're going to search for him, right? They're going to look for him. And if he can handle his assignment, I think Cleveland wins this game by 8.
Oh, damn.
I'm not making a prediction in this game because I'm calling the game, so I'm going to be very respectful of that position. I would say this: the two teams, do you remember when Golden State, everyone was kind of like, oh, they're a 3-point shooting team, no 3-point shooting team. It is their job to prove that they are not just a regular season team, because we've seen a ton of regular season teams. You go back to Toronto, Atlanta, Utah. There was a bunch of regular season teams, and so they're great, dominant. But we know this: there are certain teams like Toronto, they would get the number 1 seed. Atlanta, they would be great. But there are certain teams that were built for the postseason, like we were, like other teams, and there are certain teams that are built for the regular season. So it is OKC and Cleveland's job to prove that they are not it's not for us to believe or this and that. I'm not believing something until it's proven. They have all the talent, but if Cleveland goes to the conference finals this year, if OKC goes to the conference finals, now I believe that they are a playoff team and they might be one player away or one good performance away from making it to the NBA finals. But as far as proving that they're a regular season team, that is not for us. That is for them to prove that they are not that. We know Cleveland isn't that. We know, the old Cleveland. We know Boston currently right now isn't that. We know that there are teams that have had playoff success, or what I would say, even there are players. Denver, they're lacking players, but they've had playoff success. So to me, the way I see it is there are a couple of teams that have proven that they are playoff teams. There's a bunch of players that have proven that they are playoff players, like Denver has, like Milwaukee has. They have Giannis, they have those guys, but they haven't proved that they are a playoff team yet. So I think that those two teams fall in the line of they have to prove that they are those teams. And we get to observe and watch.
Well, let me say this. OKC don't have to prove a damn thing to me. Listen, they're going to the NBA Finals. Ooh. SGA is going to win the MVP.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Jalen Williams is going to be a first-time All-Star.
Ooh.
And look.
That's not a stretch, Channing.
Hold on. It's not a stretch at all. That is not a stretch. He is doing exactly what a Robin in this role is supposed to do. People be like, well, why is he not doing more? They're fucking 30-something and 5.
Yeah,
what more do he need to do? Look, OKC check all the boxes, right? We was praising Sam Presti, and rightfully so, this offseason about going get Isaiah Hardenstein. He did that. He's averaging a double-double, 12 and 12 on 56% shooting. Okay? Then he goes out and he gets Alex Caruso for 2 second-round picks. Now, hear me out. We haven't even been screaming Alex Caruso name over the last 2-3 months. Hell, I don't even know if he's been a factor on the floor.
No, he's been hurt. Been hurt most of the time.
But listen,
He's on my fantasy team. That's how I know.
But that's how deep the Oklahoma City Thunder team is. When you all of a sudden look up and you're getting on certain nights in big games, fucking 20-some points and 15 points from Wiggins off the bench, that's when you know you got depth, right? When it's a certain type of swag that they have and confidence level. Let me tell you something. The other night, I watched that fucking game from start to finish, the Celtics OKC. SGA basically said, hey, hell yeah, we looking forward to this game. They defend the champs. We want to see it. Damn it, he didn't disappoint. And the great thing about him, he does it on both ends of the floor. The Cavs, here's my concern about the Cavs. Do I believe that they're the second best team in the East? Absolutely. I think the Knicks are right there under them at the third spot, but I still think it's Boston. Can the Cavs beat them? I do. My only problem with the Cavs is when it comes down to getting stops at the wing position, who are they going to call on? Is it going to be a Coro? Like, can he consistently throughout the course of the playoffs be assigned to go stop a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum or a Paolo Banchero or Jalen Brunson? Like, who is their stopper?
Their offense is so well balanced, so smart, and they put so much pressure on you to be perfect defensively, which Oklahoma City is most nights, and they could not slow this team down. And it told me so much ultimately about like what Cleveland's ceiling is, man. And maybe a lot of people might say, "Oh, duh, they're 32-4. What took you so long?" Well, you know what? You know what took so long? It took a game like this. Oklahoma City took this game now, look, Oklahoma City was shorthanded. They didn't have Caruso or Chet, and that's a big deal for them defensively, both of those guys. But whatever, man. Oklahoma City played really well in this game. They played at a really high level for them, and Cleveland had an answer for that. And Cleveland made the more important plays when the game really got tight, those last several minutes. And they had contributions across the board from other guys. Their depth was on display. Cleveland is legit, man. They are legit. They're on the very short list of teams that could win the whole thing. And this was, to me, the drop the mic sort of moment for them this season to let people know who they are and what they're about.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I want to highlight, and there's a play, it wasn't even a meaningful one, but it was just highlights what we're talking about here with the defensive execution. I've been talking all year how I think the most important skill in the NBA defensively right now is how well teams can execute the guard-to-guard switch, or if you run double high actions, you need a lot of moving parts, right? And the Thunder are so good at switching guys on ball. The teams will run those guard-to-guards actions and then flare out. And if you're late on the switch, you swing it and there's an open shot. If you're late on that, the rotations now are jammed up and you swing the ball around and you find a lane. The Thunder do but the best job in the NBA, in my opinion, at switching those and switching behind. So they'll switch, they'll trap the ball, you swing it over, there's a flare screen, they fight around it. On the backside, guys will show and then recover so you're not stuck in mismatches with a guard on the big. The Thunder do that as well as anyone, and they did it perfectly last night. But in those switches, even if you execute it perfectly, there's still maybe a quarter second where the teams are running out or stunting over or what have you. And the Cavs had perfectly timed everything. When am I supposed to cut? Okay, my guy's stunting, I'm going to cut. Right as he stunts, I'm going to cut so his recovery is harder. Or I'm going to slide so his recovery is harder. Or I'm going to catch on as he's closing out of me, I'm going to catch and go quickly. The Cavaliers last night